All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. State of the Nation conversation starts right now. We'll talk about matters, politics, and everything in between. We'll talk about the dailies, the headlines around the dailies here. We'll also talk about the issues around politics and the realignments that are happening right now and the impact of U.S. aid withdrawing the funding both on the health sector and in the security sector as well. My guests are with me, Honorable Hilary Sigei, Senator for Bomet. Thanks for making time. Dr. Ekuru, Court Party Leader, Third Way Alliance. Thank you for making time. And Charles Owino, Head of the National Communications Center. Thank you very much for making time. And Dr. Okot, I'll start with you on this. Let's take a look at this front page of the Standard. They say their headline is "See no evil, hear no evil." Amid unresolved cases of abductions and killings, a crumbling justice system, confusion in education, and a healthcare crisis, President William Ruto, like the proverbial ostrich, has decided to bury his head in the sand. Is that a fair statement that the president is burying his head in the sand, or is he dealing with the issues that are currently coming up?
I think the truth for the fact is that we are witnessing various crises in the country of infrastructure, of health, education, employment, and all that. I think where this statement is truthful is the fact that there is really no adequate explanation coming from government. You know, government is not coming out to explain to Kenyans why these issues are happening. For example, I know Sigei and maybe will say that she are a success story, but the reality on the ground is different. So perhaps if government could actually come out and explain to Kenyans where the challenges are and what they are planning to do about those challenges. I think the denial that there aren't crises is why this statement is very correct, that the president is burying his head in the sand. And I'm sure maybe we'll find time to talk about, for example, the fact that the U.S. has now frozen aid to the Haiti, Kenya-led mission to Haiti. But instead, what have we done? I don't know whether it's true. I hear that we are withdrawing billions, it's 13 billion to support that mission, when we are already not dealing with the crisis at home. So, to that extent, yes, the president is burying his head in the sand.
Okay. Yeah. We'll come into that issue in just a bit. But Sigei, is the president trying to resolve the crises arising, or is he simply burying his head in the sand?
Trevor, I'm very sad that the Standard could just have such a headline. See no evil, hear no. Listen to the quote that goes on in the yellow cycle, where the president said, "We are doing well. No region or community will be left out of our development plan. We'll bring all Kenyans together and work with all leaders to have a more prosperous nation."
But are we doing well?
And the editor then decides to have a screaming headline, "See no evil, hear no." This is the sort of attention that someone seeks without content, because we are not listening to the other statements. We want to listen to quote-unquote an evil that is not even being explained here. We have had the conversation about abductions, alleged abductions for that matter, for the last 1 month. And the government has come out. It has spoken to it. The president himself has pronounced himself on it. Guys, with no, I want to be very polite in my choice of words, are using such kind of headlines to describe what the president is saying. I am doing this to make sure that every region of Kenya is not left out. I mean, it's so unfortunate that this is the headline of a newspaper that they expect the rest of the Kenyans to read.
But are we doing well?
We are not saying that everything is 100%, but as a government, yes, I can confidently say we are doing well.
Okay.
We are the ones who are helping the
let me.
I will allow you to qualify why you think you're doing well. Sure. But
let me say something.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Okwet is my good friend, not just a friend, peripheral friend, a friend that we see for a very long time. And Daktari, today, I think you've done well. Daktari has said that there is no adequate explanation as to issues that are happening, including this she success story. Daktari, that is why I currently head the National Communication Center. And I want you, because you know me, you believe in me, unless you want to disown me today. That these explanations,
I'm not about to disown you.
that these explanations you are talking about,
yes.
we are going to, some of them, I've heard you mention Haiti. I'll tell you something about it,
Yes.
because I have information about it. There's only one area that we have never agreed with Daktari, which I would humbly want him to take time and listen. Yes, we may not be doing as well as expected, but we are doing better than when President William Ruto took over this government in 2022 September. Because we should all go back and say, what was our position as a country as at June 2022? What was our position? What was our financial position, economic position? What were our bank reserves? What was our dollar? What was our... I know many people are crying because people want to see more money in their pockets and they want to see food on the table. A number of people are able to see some food on the table, not much money on the pocket, but we must say as a country, we must work together to achieve this objective. The president alone cannot achieve this objective without our support and looking at the best practices to help the country. But I hope more details we'll discuss on the debate as it continues. We are doing better.
Okay.
Yes.
Ekuru, are we doing better or worse now compared to when President Ruto took over?
No, we are not doing better. To be honest with you, the measure of whether we are doing better or not is the state of the individual. Today, I'm sure Sigay knows this very well, and so does Charles, my good brother Charles Owino, that people ask for as little as, for example, 200 Kenya shillings to put food on the table. People are fundraising for education, transport to school, healthcare, and all those things. So you cannot actually say, I think the most important thing, and maybe this is the message Charles should take to the presidency, is that it is important to admit that, yes, things are not perfect. We are going wrong, but these are the measures we have put in place to correct. So that failure of admission that the situation in the country isn't okay for Kenyans, majority of Kenyans. I'm sure it's okay for people working in government because their salaries are assured. But I tell you, I do some work even with some of the some consultants with the counties. People have not been paid. Money is not going to the country. Look, for example, today just the effect of Donald Trump cancelling support to USAID. What has that done to the people of Kenya? It has costed about, what, 40+ thousand jobs?
Yes.
So how can you say that we are doing better when we are so dependent on partners for recurrent expenditure? Recurrent, meaning salaries to people's pocket. So Charles Bwana, let's be very honest. Yeah? When we keep on, we are pleading, we are begging, other countries, other nations to actually support us. I wish we could say, this is the plans we are doing to industrialize Kenya, or to industrialize economic opportunities in all our 47 counties of Kenya. And yes, I agree. When people do not have money in their pocket, then it means even their purchasing power is low. They are not able to put food on the table. They are not able to send their kids to school. I mean, this I can tell you. I mean, I live that experience. Maybe Sigay and Charles do not support the larger communities in their villages, but I know they do.
Yeah,
but I know they do.
Yeah.
But if they are to be honest, one of the things about this government is always saying we will do this. Look at even that statement that Sigay is quoting. We shall bring all Kenyans together. What does that mean? Let's deconstruct it. What does bringing all Kenyans together mean in terms of their daily struggles? This is just part of the promises of this Kenya Kwanza government. Right from, by the way, it didn't start in 2022. Let's go back to 2013, when even our kids were promised a laptop. Many jobs were promised. This government hasn't really created job opportunities here in Kenya.
Okay.
When you talk to people, by the way, who receive a pay slip, including Sigay here, and now my brother Charles, they know that they don't have to contribute to this so-called affordable housing scheme. I was in the Pastoral Leadership Summit in Wajir, where the president even actually came. And I witnessed blatant lies from some of the government, ministers saying that, oh, we will build houses in your villages, in your constituency. That's a lie. Charles knows here, he has invested for his home in Siaya. Sige here, I know, has invested for his retirement home in Bomet. So it does not make sense to tell me, and this is the typical way of Kenyans, that you work hard, you invest in your home. This thing of affordable housing, SHA, for example, why are we not being told what was wrong with NHIF? Okay? And if there was any mistakes, we could have rectified it. That is the normal way to go do it. I mean, a monkey is a monkey, whether you go to the CBD of Kenya or in Ngong Forest or in the Masai Mara, you're still a monkey. So, what kind of suit, whether it's imported or locally made, you'll still be a monkey. So this change of names doesn't really make sense.
Okay, so I know you deal with your people in real time. Are they doing better now? Honestly speaking.
Let's be very honest again.
I said it and I'll repeat it for record purposes. Yes, we are.
Your people tell you they're doing better now.
Not everyone would tell you I'm doing better. And every other human being, by the way, Trevor, and all of us will agree on this one. Even for me, I wouldn't say I'll sit back pretty comfortable and I'm okay. It can never be. The essence of human being is to improve by the day. So much that I would be doing very well today, but I must work extra hard to improve, to do better tomorrow. As a country, as a people, as a nation, that is the essence of us living and having hope. So much that where we are today is not where we were yesterday. As an individual, I'm sure that where I am today is not the same position that I was yesterday, even in terms of even the mindset alone. So we are not doing as badly as my friend Ekuru would want to tell Kenyans. Even he himself, he's not doing it as bad as he was doing a year ago or 2 years ago. Then he probably would not have been able to think of getting a facility in the bank because the interest rates were so up high. Right now it's come down. The rating that we saw yesterday has literally come down. So much that, Trevor, when we become also patriotic Kenyans who are not just politicizing every aspect of what's going on in the general discussion, we are improving. We are doing better than yesterday, better than last year in this current regime.
Okay.
We are doing better than the previous regime. And to be specific in a number of the issues that my senior here, Ekuru, has raised. For instance, I came back from Naivasha. We have an ongoing conference by the Senate in preparation for the fourth session that will be commencing last week. Part of the presentations that we had yesterday was from the Council of Governors. Ekuru is telling Kenyans that counties have not been resourced by the Exchequer, and that is not true. The Council of Governors have confirmed that they have received Exchequer releases, and therefore it is untrue then to tell the public that they have not been given the funds, and therefore they have definitely paid salaries. And by the way, it is not that those who are in Kenya Kwanza only are the ones who are getting salaries or are working for the government. Everybody, every Kenyan who is a civil servant is not necessarily supposed to be supporting the government. And they have received their salaries. And it's therefore untrue that they haven't. True is the fact that in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, where those of us who go by that, we have got a plan. When he says affordable housing, for example, as one of his projects that doesn't make sense, he is also not ready to appreciate the fact that it was not just the house, it was not just the structure that we had. In Bomet, for example, the affordable housing project is at 90% completion right now. For the last 9 months, the number of Kenyans who have been working on that project residents of Bomet, who every morning they wake up to go to work, are 400 who are getting a wage, 200 who have continuously been full-time employed there. What does that mean? We have created an opportunity for 400 Kenyans to earn a living for the last 9 months in that particular project. The raw material that has been used has not been imported.
Okay.
We've gotten it from the locals. So let's not look at it in the context of we only do not need the houses. We needed jobs.
Okay.
And that was one of the explanations by the president when he's saying, it's not just the structure, it's not just the house, it goes beyond that. The raw material, the equipment we are using, the creation of employment, the mamambogas who will always come and sell tea, mandazis to the workmen is basically one of the things that we must consider. So let's not trivialize some of these things, and let's not just do, what everyone else would say, it is a very popular statement that will attract the statement of, we are not doing very well. We have improved. Right. And we should give the government
I'll be expecting to hear from before Charles comes,
Yeah.
I'll be expecting to hear the comments from the public. And I wish Sige today could look the working class in the eye and tell them, sometimes back, Trevor, we could pay our school fees in just one leaf, one check, or one transfer. The truth for the matter is, even the working class is actually struggling, even to afford things like school fees, mortgages, and all that. That's the reality on the ground. And I think it's because we pretend to be, we're probably one of the most pretentious nations. We believe that we are Christian, we are religious, but why can't we just tell the truth? Okay. Even just the first commandment, anyway. The first commandment says, "Thou shalt not lie."
Okay. So, Charles, what is that?
You know, Dr. Kurokwat is not just well-schooled. I suppose he went to Alliance High School.
No. I went to a village school.
Which one? Kapsabet Boys?
I went to Kabarnet Boys.
Oh, Kabarnet. It's a good school.
When Moi was the chairman of the board of governors.
Yes. In fact, when you have gone to Kabarnet, then you should be more, you should be more regional. You should be more actual. Daktari, it's very difficult to accept change. I heard you made a statement that government is not even telling us how they are industrializing the counties. First of all, it is important to understand that I've seen this is the only government so far that is working on its manifesto for campaign. This government had 5 pillars: agriculture, health, SMEs, housing, affordable housing, among others. And that is strictly what the president is trying to work on. They may not be very popular. I want to tell you that in order to industrialize the countries, government is supporting the industrial parks in all the 47 countries. I think in my county one is going on, another one is going on in Busia. The question would be, government is putting in money in these industrial parks. What we would be asking ourselves, what are the governors planning to do with these industrial parks? Are they just going to be brick and mortar and then they are left there? Because government is doing their part to do the industrial parks. I expect the industrial park in Busia, given that we're in the border, I hope the governor is thinking of how he's going to make use of his industrial parks. So where you are saying you want to think, or you want to look at how government is working on industrialization of counties, I think that is one area. And I hope EOC Uongo, it's not a lie. Now, you are asking, what was wrong with NHIF?
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with NHIF. But you are aware that since the time for President Kibaki, we have been talking about universal health care. And somebody must bite the bullet. The difference between NHIF and Social Health Insurance Fund. Now we have the Social Health Act. Within the Social Health Act, we have about 4 funds. One fund is the Social Health Insurance Fund, where you make a contribution. And the contribution has been reduced from 500 to 300. So now you can give 300. Equally, they are going to have the means testing system, which will allow your area. What I expect you to do is to go to Turkana. You are a product of Turkana as much as you've lived in Mogotio, but you're a product of Turkana. I want you to go back to Turkana. Just like Governor Nanok, you know, is a product of Laikipia. I want you and Akina Governor Nanok to go back to Turkana to campaign. And
why don't you want me to remain at the national level?
Good, yeah. As much as you remain at the national level,
yeah.
But Turkanas will listen to you. I want you to go back to Turkana and educate Turkana.
But you're the communications man for the government.
No, that is why I'm communicating.
I want you to go to Turkana to not just focus on Siaya.
That is why I'm communicating on a national television.
And I want Sigay also to go to Turkana.
Listen, don't divert me. Let me educate you on this. Because you've decided to close your mind despite your brilliance. What I'm saying is, we would expect you to go back to Turkana. Tell Turkanans that the Social Health Act has 4 funds. The Social Health Insurance Fund, there is the Primary Health Fund, which was not there. What we had was NHIF was like the Social Health Insurance Fund. On top of NHIF-Social Health Insurance Fund, we have the Primary Health Fund. We have the Critical, Chronic and Emergency Fund. We have the Infrastructure Development Fund. Now, the only fund where the public are contributing is the Social Health Insurance Fund, which their contribution has been moved from 500 to 300. And when the means testing will be done across the country, they will allow those, especially even from the pastoral areas, to pay as low as 100 shillings. Why? Because if we have 10 million Kenyans who don't fall within the bracket of 300 shillings, if they pay even 100, we'll make 1 billion, which can make a difference. So each and every Kenyan will not be left. Currently, the Primary Health Fund only requires you to register, not pay. The Primary Health Fund only requires you to register and not pay any money. Now, what is the problem? Why are we saying it's not working? Because we are at the point when we are still starting the program. The government needs to put a budget.
3 years later, I guess.
No. We need a budget.
And we had a plan.
We need a budget. Okura, I want you to go to Parliament. We need a budget of 58 billion to start up the Primary Health Fund appropriately. The Primary Health Fund is supposed to be a free fund. You are supposed to go to level 1, level 2, level 3, which is the health center. And at the health center, level 1, 2, 3, the treatment ought to be free. They need to test you for malaria for free. If it is immunization for children, for free. Yeah. If it is prenatal, should be free. So what we require is to support the program so that parliamentarians can push more money to the Primary Health Fund. Equally, the Critical and Chronic Illness Fund, it's also money from Treasury. The parliamentarians, the senators should support government to push in more funds for the Critical and Chronic Illness Fund. That is why you say it is not working, because this money has not been gotten. Once we have this money in place, it means that if you are doing your chemotherapy and your social health insurance fund is exhausted, then we are supposed to get money from the Critical and Chronic Illness Fund. Then we have the Infrastructure Fund, where government is supposed to give money to every health center, to every hospital. Then that is the place where we move. So I'm saying that, yes, it is true, the Social Health Act is still not fully operational. We are at the initial stages. It needs to be supported. It needs to be understood.
Okay.
You know, when I talk to somebody who is schooled like a Kuro, and I find him cheeky, I don't understand. What path are you following? I've just picked on one area.
We'll specify on 2 issues. When I come back, Yes, but I have to take a quick break. When you come back, we talk about just two things: political realignments and the impact of U.S. funds on the stop order work. All right, coming up just after this break.